We are live. Thank you, everyone who's joining in. I see many names showing up in our chat area of everyone that's coming in, getting connected. Thank you all for joining. We're really appreciative to see your support, signing up, attending this webinar that we are hosting. My name is Jonathan McCullough. I'm Head of Customer Success here at Userbrain. Joining me as well is Euan Harkness, who is our amazing marketing guru. He knows everything that there is to marketing. He heads up everything that is marketing within Userbrain. We're delighted to join each other and also to see everyone. Well, we don't see you, but we see your names here. We're very happy to have you with us. In today's webinar, we're going to be going on the title of Getting Started with User Testing. We're going to be looking at the top tips and best practices for 2024. And to be honest, it feels like yesterday that we were just ringing the bell for the new year. And now we're already at the end of the first month. And the question is, are you user testing? Well, we should be, but why? Well, in this webinar, we're going to be looking at the importance of user testing, why Userbrain, what is it that we do, and also by presenting you with the best tips and best practices that you can put into practice with us and in user testing in general. And so we hope that this will be an instructive and very granular webinar that we can be hosting here, talking about these items that we have. Once again, thank you for joining us. We do have some polls that will be running during this, so we hope it to be fairly interactive to learn a little bit more about who you are, what you do. We also have a chat box in there. So if you don't mind, just go ahead, drop us a message. Hi, Karina. Thank you so much for joining. If you don't mind, everyone, just go into that chat box, say hello. You can say hello to us, greet everyone else that's there. Let us know where you're connecting from. So if you don't mind, you can say where you're located in the world, or where you're located within your house if you are working from home, or if you are connecting from the office, just go ahead and drop that in there. Hey there, Taylor. How you doing? Welcome from Milwaukee. John from Chicago. Jamie from New York, working from home. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, working from home has been one of the big things the past 4 years already. Let's see who else is coming in. I see a couple are typing. We see the messages coming in there. Paige, thank you. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, we're excited. We're happy to have everyone. I'd like to start us off by introducing you to Euan, who is marketing here at Userbrain. Euan, welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jonathan. And it's great to see so many of you here and so many of you already participating in the chat. Of course, as Jonathan said, if you do have any questions that arise throughout the session, please do put them in the chat at the end of the session. We will get to every single one of them. So yeah, I'm going to try and not waste too much of your time this evening. It could be a long session, but I'll try and keep it short. Obviously, getting started with user testing, it seems like a daunting task if you've never done it before, or maybe you have very little experience of user testing. But I would like to assure you that getting started with user testing is actually pretty easy. Becoming the perfect user tester is a lot more difficult. But yeah, let's start right at the beginning. Let's start by ordering a test. And if you just bear with me, I just need to change screens a little bit. Jonathan, is my Userbrain dashboard there now?
Yes, looks good.
Perfect, thank you. So this is a user test that I did for Porsche a while ago. Not for Porsche, but just using them as an example because it's such a cool website, especially if you love your cars. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the test that I've already created. Right now, I'm going to click Get Testers. And what you'll see now is the order tester panels for Userbrain. So as you can see, we have two options. You can order testers from the Userbrain panel, or you can bring your own testers with Userbrain as well. So it's important to note as well that with any subscription plan you have with Userbrain, you get 100 sessions with your own testers every month, even if it's just a starter plan. So anyway, enough of the marketing sales talk. I'm going to do some little demographic filters here. I want my testers to use computers. I want them to be from the USA. Obviously, it's an English-speaking test, so it's only showing me the English-speaking countries. And I'm going to get rid of age range and gender because I'd like it to be quite a good mix. We also have a screener question there, which I'll get into a little bit later. And I'm just going to go right ahead now and order 3 testers. And that's now Userbrain sending out invitations, trying to find 3 testers within my parameters, within my demographics for this test. So as you can see, one person is already doing the screening questions. So let's see if they're successful or not. We'll come back to that very soon. So yeah, if it's okay, Jonathan, I'd like you to launch a poll because I'm really actually interested in finding out who's in here. You know, are you a UX designer? Are you a researcher, a product manager? Are you like me? Are you in marketing? By the way, Jonathan, I wouldn't call myself a marketing guru, but thank you very much for the compliment. And maybe we also have some startup founders in here as well. So it would be really interesting to know, you know, who you are and kind of what's your day-to-day story.
All right, the poll is launched. You should see that popping up on your screen. I did see a chat message from Karina to make the screen sharing a tiny bit bigger. I do apologize if that screen share was a little bit smaller. It should be bigger now. If not, I'm going to send you a chat message in a bit. But back to the poll, we do see the numbers coming in there. 2 UX designers, 3 UX designers, 2 in marketing and growth, 1 UX researcher. Someone did say other, so if you do have a different job title or you put yourself in a different role, do let us know in the chat. Just select other, and then in the chat, just type in there what your role is or what is it that you do.
It's fantastic to see such a great mix as well, because sometimes, you know, we'll run a webinar and it will just be the one type of person, but really there's so many different types of roles that user testing can actually be really useful for. And I'm presuming that if you're in this webinar right now, then that's something that you see as well. So kudos for that, because it's not just for UX researchers. Yeah, so thanks for answering the poll. Quickly, just a little bit about what is Userbrain. What is this company that Jonathan and I work for? It's an unmoderated remote user testing tool. We've got approximately 125,000 quality assured testers. By that, we mean whenever a tester comes into us and wants to be a tester, we put them through quite a rigorous qualification test, and we reject much more than we accept. So we also have a 100% satisfaction guarantee with that, because the quality of our testers it's obviously not a complete USP, but it's something that we take very seriously. So if you run a test with us and you're not happy with what you get back from a tester, no worries, we'll give you another credit and you can order another test. Yeah, we've got a whole template section on the website, which we'll look at a little bit later as well. That's a free resource. You don't have to be a Userbrain user to use that, and that will basically show you similar businesses to yours, perhaps, how we would run a user test for that particular product. We've got reports. We've got a new feature coming soon, which is clips. Basically, the idea is to cut out little highlights of your user test so you can send them to stakeholders, because, you know, if you're a designer, for example, and you want to show the developer something that you found in your user test, something that's going wrong, then it's much easier to send them a 1-minute video than it is to send them a 15-minute video. So yeah, we're hopefully getting that launched soon. That's a little sneak peek, a little exclusive for you. And yeah, our whole thing at Userbrain is being easy, fast, and affordable. So you can get started in minutes and get results in hours. Our goal is to help you design truly customer-centered products or user-centered products, and to bring you closer to your users. So yeah, that's a little bit about Userbrain. If you've got your phone handy or whatever right now, and you are looking for a free trial to really try it out for yourself for later on, we will show this link at the end as well. But again, I'll just leave that up for a few seconds if any of you are curious right now. And yeah, right, we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty in about 3 seconds. So, why is user testing important? Why would you run user tests is the question we're asking as a central key theme here. You're going to see people interact with your product. You're going to hear their thoughts, but more importantly, you're going to see what they do. And no one or no thing will tell you more about how your product is performing in terms of user experience than watching a completely brand new person, a brand new user, use your product and hearing what they've got to say. We ask all of our testers to think out loud while they perform user tests, and it's so valuable to see that in conjunction with not only what they're doing on your website, but what their thought process is at the same time. And yeah, you're going to spot UX issues, and hopefully with regular continuous testing in small batches, you're going to avoid costly mistakes, whether it's feature launches or upgrades, or talking about things like conversion rate. If you've changed something in the sign-up form, user testing is really going to show you what's going right for your product and also what's going wrong. Yeah, the last point there, you can learn from feedback and you can build products that people love to use, which is our mission to help all of our users achieve. Yeah, if you're familiar with computer science kind of stuff, this old adage of garbage in equals garbage out. It's exactly the same with user testing. So maybe that's the kind of thing. If you've not really dipped your toes in the water with user testing yet, maybe that's what's holding you back. It's this idea that you kind of feel that your user test is going to be a little bit half-hearted, and then you think, oh well, I'm going to be paying for a sort of half-hearted user insights because of that. So the purpose of this webinar is to kind of help you overcome that a little bit as well. And really, it's much easier than you think. So Jonathan, please, I would like you to launch another poll. And I want to ask everyone in the call, what's your general experience level with user testing? Doesn't have to be with Userbrain, doesn't have to be with a remote user testing tool. It could be moderated user testing, it could be tree testing, card sorting, it could be anything. But I just want you to kind of give me a rough idea of how advanced you are with user testing.
Right. Poll is launched. I see votes coming in. Currently 3 intermediate, 2 beginner. Looks like we have a modest and humble group. No one has said that they are advanced.
Yeah, that's the trick. Anyone that puts advanced, they would be picked on for the rest of the webinar. I'm only joking. It's an anonymous poll. But yeah, thank you very much for your answers. It's good to see that we've got a real mix, and that's great. So not everyone's an absolute beginner. But equally so, not everyone thinks they're so advanced that they couldn't possibly learn something new. So that's fantastic. Right, back to the test. Basically, I'm not going to go back to the user test just yet, but I'm going to show you from the start, before ordering the test, how I actually set that test up. So this is kind of what you'll see when you want to launch a new test with Userbrain in the dashboard. So we're going to take a little look under the hood of the Porsche test. If you'll pardon the pun, it's for Porsche USA. So if you remember when we did the demographics, we targeted testers based in the United States of America. We weren't too worried about age or gender. But yeah, we just were, as you can see from the link, it's the USA site of Porsche, and we're testing in English language as well. With Userbrain, you can also test in Spanish or German at the moment, and we're looking into adding other languages in the future. But yeah, that's the three options that we have right now. Now, as I said before, we were going to touch on the screener question. Now, it's really important to have a screener question, just to kind of, I guess, to try and maximize the insights that you're going to get. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with someone completely new that has no idea about your product or your area of work or what your service does. That's also great to get a completely outside perspective. But Userbrain does have the option, and we do encourage it to screen the testers to try and help you get some really like deep insights from the type of people that would actually consider using your product or service. So this is a little tip. This is, I guess, the first tip of the webinar, so to speak. Obviously, for Porsche, we're interested in people that have owned a car or currently own a car. That's important to us because we're kind of thinking they'll understand everything about buying a car or how a car works, or, you know, it's going to give us a little bit deeper insights. So basically, we're not interested in any other answer about what people own, but we would like them to own a car. So we've approved car, we've ignored the rest, but if you notice at Bolt there, we've rejected that tester. And that's a red herring that we've put in there. And what that does is it basically stops a tester who's maybe trying to cheat. Of course, Userbrain testers never ever do things like that. I'll have you know, but we just put that in there just to make sure that it's not possible for someone to tick every single box, lie, and then get through to the next stage. But the good news is you can actually add a second screener question. So if your product requires it, you can add a second layer to that just to make extra sure that you're getting rid of anyone that might be, I don't know, not telling the truth, for example, or whatever other situation it might be. So we've rejected Bolt, and yeah, now we've kind of come on to the actual test itself and setting up the tasks that we want. And the first task really shouldn't be too overwhelming. Basically, what you're looking to do is to ask something that's relatively straightforward and natural to get the tester in the zone and focused on the task that you're about to give them. Think of it as a way of focusing the tester on your product or service. So for Porsche, the first task I chose was describe your last car purchase out loud. Because we know that everyone here is, if they're telling the truth, which we all are, of course, is a car owner. So they've at some point purchased a car. And yeah, basically this allows us to sort of gather some background information, a little bit about their sort of purchasing behavior. And that's also useful to measure that against what happens in the rest of their test. So you can kind of compare, okay, I can see why this person did this because of how they told us about how they bought their last car, or, you know, whatever it might be. It gives us a baseline to understand the frame of mind of the tester before we begin. Second tip here, don't reveal everything up front. We don't kiss on the first date at Userbrain. If you do, I'm not judging you. But basically your first task should be something not like the left and like the right. So don't say it's Porsche's website, you can buy cars here. What you should say instead is something like, please have a look at the site, explore it. Tell me everything that comes to mind when you look at it. Who do you think it's for? What do you think it's about? We see it all the time, or Jonathan rather sees it all the time in customer success, when users will come to us and they'll say, you know, I'm being really detailed and really specific in my questions and my tasks, but I'm not really getting the kind of insights that I'm looking for. And that's natural. That's a natural sort of, I guess, a human mindset of more detail will equal better results. But basically, you don't want to influence your testers. So actually, sometimes giving a bit less detail, a little bit less kind of context for the first few questions will really help you extract some insights. Because again, you're you're not testing the tester, you're testing your website or your product or your prototype or your mobile app or whatever it might be. Next tip, set the scene. You really want your testers to be in a scenario that they find compelling and that they can empathize with. So why would you want that? It will make your test so much more interesting for the tester, and you'll discover more interesting insights as a result, because they will be completely encapsulated, completely engrossed in this scenario that you've created, and it won't feel like work for them anymore, because remember, a Userbrain tester is getting paid for the tests that they do. They're not just testing your product out of the love of testing, although I have to say we have some fantastic testers, and I think even if they were not being paid, they would be really happy to do it for free. But yeah, so think about your average user and simply create a scenario about, you know, what is that user going to do when they come to our website? What are they looking for? Are they going to use the sign-up form? Are they going to use the search function? Are they going to compare different products that we have? Are they going to configure the car, for example, a Porsche? So here's a good starting point, and this is a word that I want you to just write down somewhere, either on paper or in your memory. And the word is imagine. That's probably the most common and best way to start a task that you can use. It's the building block of a fantastic scenario. Imagine you've always wanted to own a Porsche since you were a little kid. And if you were a little petrol head like me growing up in the west of Scotland, then you know that was the absolute dream when you were a wee boy. So imagine starts us off with the context. Basically, it makes it the scenario is something that I can empathize with because I've been there myself. Or you think your average user has been there themselves, and they can sort of bring them into that situation seamlessly, and you know they can you know bring as much of their kind of personality and their interest to your task as possible. So yeah, you should be trying to get them to behave in your test as they would naturally in the outside world, and that's something that remote unmoderated user testing is very good for, because you've got people testing with their devices in their own natural habitats, if you like, in their own house or their own workplace or wherever it might be. So the more natural you can make your task, the more believable and interesting and you know, compelling that you can make the scenario, the better. So this is, again, this is the way that your questions should pan out. Try to find a car that meets your needs. We're not leading them too much. We're not saying go to the search button and search for the Porsche 911 and find one that, you know. We're just saying to them, you're on the website now. Try and do X, and that's it. The testers should be able to empathize with the situation, as I've said. And they should be influenced as little as possible. And you can kind of reach this by describing the context. And I hope this is readable. There's a lot of text on here. This is actually the complete scenario that I've used as the well, it's actually task number 3, but it's essentially task number 1 of what we're actually interested in. You know, the exact scenario and the context is going to vary depending on what your product or service is. Think about Apple, obviously the company. No, I'm not talking about like Granny Smith apples or something like that. But the scenario might be a college student, a university student, looking for a new laptop with a particular budget in mind, with particular needs. For Facebook, it might be someone a little bit older, perhaps in their 60s, who's looking to connect with old friends online that they haven't seen in a few years. So you really just need to remember that you're trying to not influence the testers, and you're trying to completely immerse them in whatever scenario is you want them to do. Just if you see the bottom sentence there on this task, please remember to think out loud during the test. That's always a good reminder to add towards the beginning of the test. Although our testers, as I said, they're all quality assured. They all know to do that anyway, but there's no harm in putting that in there. And tell us if there's any information missing. Again, that's a key point of importance. It's not just about the user experience. You know, it might be something like a bug that the user finds, something completely technical that they can report to you as well through a user test. And yeah, if you need to sign up for anything or whatever it might be, if you need to put in an email address, you know, just use a fake one, and that's fine. So next tip, don't ask about usability. Again, your goal is to immerse your testers into a scenario that they can empathize with. Not only will it make that test so exciting for the tester, but you'll discover more interesting insights as a result. So think about your average user and then create a scenario. It's that simple. Do not ask direct questions such as, what do you think of this? Or, you know, was this usable, or whatever it might be? How easy was it to use X? It's not going to give you the best results, because most of our testers, the vast majority of testers, and the vast majority of people, if they're testing your product, they're going to want to be nice to you. They're going to want to please you. So maybe something actually isn't that easy to use. And if you ask them a question, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how easy was this to use? And, you know, 10 is very easy. They click 10. Oh, congratulations! You know, you've not really learned anything from that, apart from you found out that you've got a tester that really wants to be a nice person to you. So don't ask, is the search function intuitive, or how easy is it to use the website? Human memory is faulty, well, mine is anyway, and it's highly selective. So we like to remember positive rather than negative experiences, but in a weird way, we'll also dwell on negative experiences more than we will appreciate and remember positive positive experiences from time to time. So humans, we're not really rational, I suppose. But one thing you'll notice if you ask questions like this, you know, is the search function intuitive or whatever, the testers, if they do sort of fail in their attempt to use your search function, they'll try and rationalize it with things like, oh, you know, I was confused and I clicked the wrong thing, and no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And actually that's an issue on your side, on the product side. It needs to be fixed, and I'm sure you all know that. But it's just a good thing to remember. And all this stuff, as I said, is easier than maybe we think at first. This is a great task as well. Imagine your girlfriend's birthday is next week and you're looking for a gift. You plan to spend a maximum of $50. Yeah, what a lucky lady, first of all. 50 whole dollars, that's incredible. So to learn about the usability of your product, or the user experience, you have to give people a task and just watch them try and use your product to complete the task. That's all it boils down to, really. In the end, you're the one who's going to assess the usability of your product, whether you're a performance marketing manager focused on CRO, or whether you're a UX designer, a researcher, a product manager, a founder. You're the one, if that's your responsibility and you're the one doing the testing, you're the one who is going to make that decision based on the user insights that you've discovered, and the data that maybe you've got from your analytics tools as well. You're going to decide, actually, is the usability good enough or not, or do we need to change something? So yeah, that's it. It's that simple. Give the user a task, but don't tell them every step of how to do it. Pay attention to what users do and not what they say. So maybe this is actually phrased a little bit badly. We should always pay attention to what our testers are saying. We do ask them to think out loud, after all, but it's only a secondary action. Primarily, we want to watch what they do when they try to use our products. Observe behavior and ignore opinion is the best kind of advice I could give you, because as UX designers, or again, performance marketing managers, or product managers, researchers, we are really, really close with our products on a day-to-day basis. That, you know, sometimes we can take too many opinions on board. And if you're a little bit like me and you like looking at numbers and you like hearing feedback and all the rest of it, you can kind of get into a little spot of analysis paralysis. So the best thing to do is simply to ignore the opinion and concentrate on the signal that you're getting from observing behavior. And Jonathan, I think it's time that we ask a question in the chat this time. What's the most important part of user testing?
All right, I'll just paste that in the chat as well, just in case you want us to read it there as well. What is the most important part of user testing? We're not going to say that there is one singular important part. Many different parts are important, but which one is the most important part? And we do know from the poll that we have many that are here. The great majority are intermediate, where you rate yourself as intermediate experience with user testing. So I have full confidence in your answer. If you don't mind just going over to the chat, dropping it in there. What do you think is the most important part of the user testing process? I always heard that there was a good analogy, and maybe we'll see an answer to in there first, and then I'll give an analogy that I've heard about this. Would you say it's the ideation phase, screening phase? User completes tasks correctly, says Patty. Let's see someone else. I've always heard a good analogy that user testing is fairly similar to panning for gold. If anyone here has done gold panning, I know I did when I was a kid. Someone can invest so much time in choosing the right place, choosing the right equipment, getting there, scooping up that dirt out of the river. And then what if they just dump all that dirt right back into the water and just move on? Then that just goes to waste all of the previous work that someone has done. Let's see, Taylor says, discovering something new from users' actions. Sumit also says discovery, discovering unknown user expectations. And that's exactly right. That is the most important part of the user testing process. At the end of the day, our point in user testing is learning something from real humans that are interacting and using our products, our services, our designs, our creations. We have a good question from Jorge. We'll get to that question at the end of this, at the Q&A. But really, the analyzation phase is where the work begins. We've done all that we could setting it up, but really when we're discovering and learning from how real people use our products and our designs, that's what we determine to be the most important part of user testing, because if it's not done properly, then we've just wasted the whole rest of our time and prep work behind that. So there we have it. Euan, back to you.
Absolutely, Jonathan, and thank you everyone for putting in your thoughts there. I don't mean to put you on the spot. I don't want it to come across as a trick question, because obviously everything that we do in the whole process, we have to take it seriously, and it's all important, because it's every little piece has to match up together like a jigsaw puzzle, and then at the end, you know, we have the whole picture, the whole jigsaw puzzle, and that's our user insights that we're uncovering. But really, when everything we've covered up till now has been actually really simple, but as humans, we like to try and overcomplicate these things or think that it's rocket science. Well, user testing isn't rocket science. You know, we've got a screener question, we've got a scenario, we've got a great set of tasks, and we're, as I said, we're just asking the testers to do something on our website, and we're going to watch them and see how they get on trying to do that. So the most important part, if you can call it the most important part, is everything that we do after the test is complete. Everything that we do after we get those videos back. And what I mean by that is watching the videos, analyzing the results, making notes, discovering UX insights, sharing clips with the developers or with the stakeholders, with people in your maybe in your UX team, to see what they think. Looking at the reports from the user test, looking at the quantitative insights that we're discovering from that, as well as the qualitative insights that we're discovering from the test. Ultimately, everything you do after the test should take you one step closer to finding out what's not working for your product. And from there, you can take action and you can fix it. So this is kind of where the work begins, and this is where you need to take your time and really concentrate on what's happening. So at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're learning something from your efforts. You know, if you want to come into Userbrain and take out an enterprise package and pay us a lot of money, that's fantastic. You know, we're really delighted for that. But really what we want is for our users to be getting the maximum value possible out of the user test that they're conducting. So analyzing the test is where the work begins and not where the work ends. Now, we've actually got some great features at Userbrain that will really help you cut down the time and frankly the effort that's commonly associated with analyzing user tests. The first one is AI Insights, which we launched for the first time in June last year, and we are constantly updating it and making it more powerful and making it more useful. At the same time as well, it's completely optional, so you don't have to use it if you're a traditionalist or you don't like the idea of using AI on your user test. Then it's completely up to you. But AI Insights is basically your in-house AI assistant at Userbrain, and what it will do is it will crawl the video and the transcripts of your test, and it will pick out important little snippets, little pieces of information, and it will record them for you. And it's going to help you figure out very quickly, without watching the video yet. I'd like to stress it is obviously important to watch the test videos that you've paid for, but you can read through the AI Insights before even watching the video, and a couple of things will probably jump out at you, and you'll be able to kind of envision before watching the test, okay, this is where the user has run into a usability issue or whatever it might be. So yeah, that's the first feature, and all of the AI Insights will be available at the end of your tests, in the reports. We like to call them our presentation ready reports, because I think they do look quite beautiful. But yeah, all AI Insights as well as your own notes will be available in the reports tab, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute, so definitely hang around. You can share your completed reports with your teammates and stakeholders. Maybe the developers don't understand, as I said, the issue that you're trying to tell them, or they don't see it in their QA testing or whatever it is they're doing, likely because they're all using similar devices or in similar geographic locations, all the rest of it. Simply show them the report, let them watch the video, or better yet, coming soon, send them a clip. That's not available quite yet, but it will be available in the coming weeks. I'm delighted to tell you. So we're going to go back to our user test now. And as you see, we have one test that we ordered out of the 3 is completed, and that's from Lexi. As you can see, she is from the USA. She's female, 26. And remember, we only wanted tests on computers. We have another completed test from Jody, US, female, 53, on a computer, and that's processing now. So that means the test is recorded, and in a couple of minutes it'll be ready. We're just doing some Userbrain post-production magic. So yeah, normally a test is between 10 and 20 minutes long. So this is actually fantastic from Lexi. About 15 minutes is kind of what you're aiming for. That means that we've not included too many tasks, but we've included enough tasks to get a good amount of value and a good amount of Lexi's time, quite frankly, to test our product. So I'm going to click here. and this will open the test. So as you can see here, we've got the video. I'm really sorry if this is a little bit small on the screen share. Up the top right-hand corner here, we've got a menu with tester. Then we have the tasks tab, and that will move along chronologically. So as you can see, this bar, it shows you which task our tester is on. So you can just remind yourself of, okay, what actually was the exact task I asked them at this point in time. Then we have the transcript tab, which is a full transcript of everything that Lexi said during this user test. So that's also good as well if you need to get a quote or something like that, or if the tester says something that's particularly interesting, you can take that little snippet and put it in your user test report to share with the team or whatever it might be. Now, AI Insights is in the Notes tab, and in the Notes tab as well, you can also make your own notes and add them, and that will come with the timestamp, and then your name will be here. So I am obviously Euan at Userbrain. Now let's generate AI Insights. And as I said, that's going to analyze the whole video, and it's going to come up with the appropriate insights based on user behavior or usability issues, user confusion, a suggestion from the tester, unexpected interaction, user behavior, user confusion, a key takeaway, and positive feedback. So yeah, that's really useful. I think that all of the insights from the AI are tagged with a hashtag, so you can kind of group them as well. So maybe we see this here. So Lexi found it difficult to find an electric car that meets her needs, stating, yes, so you didn't really make it clear, like, where's the electric models listed? And that should come up somewhere, like in a drop-down. So not only has she spotted a usability issue here, which is actually very important, because a lot of people, especially a lot of wealthy people who might be looking at the Porsche website, are probably looking into buying an electric car now as the infrastructure becomes more and more available. So as the as a product manager or whatever for Porsche, that's going to interest me. And not only that, but the AI has picked up that our tester here has made a suggestion of how that could be fixed, for example, in a drop-down menu. So yeah, let's just go back out of the video. I mean, we could sit here all night and watch the user test videos. I love doing that, but I'm sure that you've got places to be and people to see. So let's just, again, we can go on Jodie's video now, generate the AI insights, and yeah, then we'll have all the insights from Jodie's video. And the reason why I did that was because I just want to show you in the report how that all looks. So if we go down to the electric car question, which is this here. So you found your dream car and it's within budget, that's great. But your boss tells you basically you're going to get a massive subsidy for buying an electric car or having an electric car at work. You'll get the electricity for free. So as you can see, our notes come in here, and the AI insights are tagged with the magic wand and AI. And we've got the hashtags there as well. And this is from all of the testers that we've had on this test. Every single insight is there. So here's one that I've written as well. This is my personal note, not from the AI. And that, again, it appears side by side, but it's easy to distinguish which is your notes and which is the AI. Uses the comparison tool again and successfully finds a comparable hybrid model. So yeah, that's the AI insights and the reports. A little bit of a quick rushed tour. As you can see, the final video we've got there is processing. So what time are we on now? I think I ordered those 40 minutes ago. So in 40 minutes we've basically, I mean, that'll be finished in 1 minute now. We've basically got three tests. So yeah, that's just how quick you can get started with user testing and how quick you can get started with Userbrain. It's really get started in minutes and get results within hours, as we promise. Let's just recap quickly then. 4 tips for a great test. Immerse your testers, set the scene, Make them imagine all the stuff I said earlier. It's really important. Use a variety of different task types. We have tasks like I showed you there. We have multiple choice questions, single choice questions, rating scales. We also have URL redirects. So you can actually send them to your competitor's website and basically do some comparative testing, maybe give them a task to do on your competitor's website, and then give them the same task to do on your website, and try and sort of spot the differences in how the tester reacted between doing each task. You can also check things like the time on task in that scenario, so you can see actually how quick it was for them to complete the task on each website and compare. So actions speak louder than words as well. Focus on what the tester does, and then what the tester says. Both are obviously important though, so don't ignore what the tester says completely, but ignore opinion and observe behavior. Use the AI insights, reports, and clips, brackets coming soon, to make analysis and teamwork easy. The AI insights, the reports, everything like that, especially if you're working as a team, it's going to save you a lot of time and energy. But I would stress one thing: it's extremely important still to watch the user test videos. That's basically it from me. We're going to head for a Q&A with Jonathan soon, but I just wanted to put these two QR code links up on the screen. Whether you're looking to book a call with us, maybe you have some very specific questions, or maybe there was something that I said that maybe confused you. Hopefully not. But if you are interested in starting testing with Userbrain, but you don't know quite where to start or what to do, feel free to book a call with us. We are happy to sit with you one-to-one and work out a great solution for you. Or if you're so fired up by all of the inspiration I've just given you and you want to get right in there, you can go ahead and start a free trial with the link on the right-hand side. And you'll get 2 testers for free. There's no credit card required. We're not going to hassle you or anything like that. We're not one of these tools where you need to book a sales call or anything like that. You can go at your own pace and you can discover whether user testing and Userbrain as a product is for you or not. Thank you very much. And I'll hand over to Jonathan now for the Q&A.